Me and Marvin Gardens, Chapter 19. Tommy and Marvin Gardens. There was shock. There was disappointment and something like grief. Tommy was sitting on the muddy bank of the creek and talking to Marvin while he fed him the bag of plastic I left there when I went for my walk that morning. It took me about 30 seconds to inhale. I wanted to curse. I wanted to yell. I wanted to do so many things. Mostly, I wanted to sucker punch him in the nose and give him nosebleeds for 6 months. Nosebleeds with no warning. Middle of science class, middle of lunch, middle of swimming at the rec center, freaking out the lifeguard. But what I said was, "What are you doing here?" "I thought you might need some help," he said. "I don't need your help." He looked down and said quietly, "I might need yours." Tommy had been crying and he had dirt all over his face. His fancy sneakers were covered in mud. I knew his mom would kill him for that. "What happened?" He wiped snot on his sleeve and pretended he hadn't just been honest with me. "Can we talk about this guy?" "Marvin Gardens," I said. "That's his name." "Seriously?" "Seriously." "Where did he come from?" Tommy asked. "My guess? He evolved because of this," I said, and spun around to show phases 1 through 3. "I saw him in the woods. He let me follow him here. I didn't think you'd let me come over. I wouldn't blame you." "Where's Mike and the other guys? You're like a gang now, like all 6 of you or whatever." "They're always daring each other to do stuff, and it's going too far." "What now?" "Girls. So stupid. I don't even care about girls. I mean, not like that. You know what I mean." "What about girls?" "They're making a list," Tommy said. I looked at him like I didn't know what he was talking about, because I didn't. "They're going to kiss as many girls as they can before the end of the school year." I frowned. "So the list is a list of girls?" He nodded. "I don't understand why you'd need a list." "It's stupid, I told you. I told them too, and Mike said I was being immature." "So he dropped you." "Told me I was a hippie and I belonged with the freak." "And I'm the freak, right?" "You're the freak." I stayed quiet. Tommy and I never really dared each other to do things. I knew other kids did that sometimes. Last month, a kid in my class got glue all over his butt because someone put it on his chair. The month before that, one of them stuck a post-it note to the back of the lunch checkout lady's shirt that said, "I smell bad." "You're not a freak, though," he said. It almost seemed like the old Tommy, my best friend, was back. Half of me wanted this. The other half of me didn't trust him one bit. I looked at Marvin Gardens. "He's the freak," I said. "He fetches, you know," Tommy said. "I taught him," I said, trying to keep every bad word inside my mouth because there was Tommy on my turf with my Marvin Gardens. Worse, Marvin didn't come over to me or jump up and grin. He just sat in the fast running stream and munched. "Did you know he eats plastic?" Tommy asked. "Yeah." Marvin was making that horrific noise, chewing on my sour cream container. "You can't tell anybody about him," I said. "I won't. I'm serious. I won't tell anybody, I promise," he said. "I don't know what to do with him yet." "Have you smelled his poop yet?" he asked. "That's how I found him on the edge of the woods. He was pooping." "I swear that stuff is more toxic than the stuff that comes out of the landfill." I laughed and felt like a traitor. "It's blue," Tommy said. I guessed Marvin had been eating the plumbing plastic again. Only if he eats blue stuff. "What is he?" "I have no idea. I want to find out, but there's nothing on the internet, and it's not like I can ask Miss G or anything." "I could ask her," he said. Tommy had had a crush on Miss G since the beginning of that school year. I was probably the only one who knew this, because having a crush on a 60-year-old lady would be weird to most kids. Except Miss G wasn't her age. Her brain was cute, if you thought about girls being cute. He said, "I think she'd really want to see him." "You can't tell anybody. I told you." "Okay." We sat on the bank, and Marvin walked up and sat between us, and I petted his head while Tommy inspected his own mud-covered sneakers. I waited for Tommy to say he was sorry for punching me in the nose, but he didn't. I waited for him to say something else about how he needed my help, like he said when I got there, but he didn't say anything. I didn't ask him about why his face was dirty. I didn't ask why he'd been crying. This was how it was going to be, I guessed.